Ancient technology created the basis for current technology, and the advances over the years are astounding. Early discoveries showed the progress of cryptography and codes, ciphers, swords, slingshots, and so much more. Many are similar to their original versions even today. Cryptography, also called cryptology, offers a method to send communication back and forth in a way that can't be read or interpreted by anyone else. Secure communication is key to the safety of both individuals and whole cities or countries, and it has become more and more detailed, yet still builds on the basic principles. A 16th century cipher machine from France has been discovered and carries the coat of arms of Henry II. This particular cipher machine is shaped like a book, allowing it to hide in plain sight or easily be hidden from others. It contains several wheels to access different ciphers, with each altering what letter represents another, and it shows signs that it was used during the early years of its creation. It follows all traditional cipher theories and rules, and is an important piece of ancient technology. Leonardo da Vinci became a household name through his art and inventions. He altered the world around him and created the basis for many inventions that are used today, though they have all changed and been modernized. One such invention is the fighting machine, believed to be the grandfather to the tanks that are used today. The first mention of this ancient technology was found in a letter he wrote in 1482 to the Duke of Milan. In this letter, he mentioned innovative weapons of war, including a vehicle that was armored, shaped as a cone to deflect enemy fire, wheels that remained inside and reached the ground through holes in the floor to prevent them from damage by the enemy, and holes in the cover that permitted cannon fire. Inspiration for this vehicle seems to have come from nature and the world as he experienced it, including the shell for his fighting machine, mimicking a turtle shell, inner wheels that are similar to pulling in legs and feet for safety, and the ability to move across the land. The Tower of the Winds in Athens is an example of ancient technology that address how the wind blows through cities, structural stability, and materials that were manipulated to fit the need in an impressive way for the building date. It was completed by 50 BC and remains in its original position today, where visitors and tourists may view this monument. This Pentelic marble tower has wind gods carved into the marble around the top, just below where the wind vane used to stand. Upon its build, it also housed a water clock, and sundials were prominent on the outside of the building. It has been noted that it is one of the very few that are in such good shape from that age, and may be the only of its type that has survived. It stands 12 meters tall, with a diameter of 8 meters, and it was made taller with the statue of Triton, who was holding a rod that functioned as a weather vane. The single room inside allowed water to come down through the Acropolis into the channels, or holes in the floor, which worked to make the room a water clock. Further research showed evidence it may have been so tall due to the wish for it to function as a clock tower. A need to track the wind and weather changes has always existed, and one of the ancient technological ways to do so was with an anemometer. This device tracks both the speed at which the wind is moving as well as the direction that it is going. Leon Battista Alberti was responsible for the development of the first anemometer, which used a pressure plate in 1450, while the one that is used most often now was created by John Thomas Romney Robinson, who created the 4-cup version in 1846. In 1926, John Patterson changed it to use 3 cups, and in 1991 Derek Weston added direction and speed measurements. Observing the changes to this device and the way that it has grown over the years is a direct observation of how ancient technology affects technology even today. Styles of known anemometers include cup versions, the 4-cup, 3-cup, and the 3-cup with wind direction, and the vane anemometers. Inca technology is still easily seen in devices even today, and the temple at Ollantaytambo in Peru is one example with the incredible water engineering. At the water temple, the design styles are clear in the many fountains, which represent both the physical and spiritual importance of water to the culture of the Incas. 14 fountains were found in the area, and they were mostly for ceremonial purposes, and there were another 3 in progress before the palace was abandoned. The entire temple was designed and built to show appreciation to and to worship the deities who provided water, as well as the water itself. Situated 2,792 meters above sea level, it faces harsh weather conditions and was flooded in 1679, but has managed to overcome both and remain standing. Construction techniques on this site were advanced well ahead of their time and included impermeable rock coatings to keep the water from leaking out of the channels. Multi-levels were used to prevent erosion and landslides, and drainage channels move the water away from areas that are susceptible to them. Some of the channels were built significantly before this time, with some being from 900 to 1200 AD by the settlers of Kilkli. By expanding upon what was already in place, the site made the most use of what is available to create their palace and waterways. The Incas also designed using hydraulic principles, both using and avoiding hydraulic jumps to fit their need for each section. The old walled city of Shibam can be found in Yemen and currently houses approximately 7,000 residents. Its claim to fame are the high-rise buildings that were made from mud brick that are as high as 11 stories. It is estimated that people have lived in the city for 1,700 years, and it sits along strong trade routes for prosperity and has both walls and the high-rises in order to protect it from attack. Lower levels of buildings have few doors, all of which are reinforced and no windows. Intricate designs on buildings and around windows shows great attention to detail and skilled carving. Researchers have determined that the first inscription in the city was in the 3rd century CE, and the ages point to the new city having been built on the ruins of the original city, raising it higher above the floodplain. These details have resulted in the city being designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1982, and it's being referred to as the Manhattan of the desert. It is also local to 2 other archaeological sites, Juja and Gabusa, which were used for stones and bronze for the buildings and the lion's head found within. During any wartime or Cold War, there is a lot of information going back and forth, and anyone with the right type of radio can intercept all communication around them. To make this easier, a portable radio direction finder, the Gürtelpeiler, was made in 1942, and it was an advanced technology at the time. It was designed to fit underneath a coat and wrapped against the body for a lower profile, with the hope that it will be unnoticed by others. The antenna was a loop that went around the neck for the best possible reception. Working best within 1 kilometer, it could reach a maximum range of 3 kilometers, allowing it to intercept only local radio signals. Most popular during the Cold War, it was eventually used by people on both sides, and it allowed for key details to be intercepted, both information from their own handlers and their own intelligence for assignments and other details, as well as information from the other side, which may provide an advantage. It was also used to narrow down where the signals were coming from, allowing soldiers and intel personnel to pinpoint where operators were sending signals from, and then arrest them or remove them. Magnets play a key part in a lot of technology and can be the key to making a system work. This was put to use in ancient China when a magnetic compass was created. Originally, it was used for divination purposes for fortune tellers and others, but it was soon discovered that the lodestone would always point north, regardless of which direction the device was held. References were found as early as 1040 in a manuscript Wu Qing Song Yao of an iron fish that would always face the south, introducing the use of magnets in navigating and locating the needed direction. 1086 is when the first compass was mentioned in a book Dream Pool Essays that was written by a scholar of the time, Shen Kuo. The invention itself has been tracked back to the Han Dynasty, which was 202 BC to 220 AD, making this incredible ancient technology even older than originally thought. When a compass points north, it is because the lodestone, a naturally occurring magnetite, attracts iron objects and use those to align with a magnetic field. This will cause it to always face the right direction, and this has made it invaluable in navigation both by land and on water. Calculators are one of the most used technologies in everyday life, especially during school, or for those who work with math and math topics, including accountants and bookkeepers. The advances that brought people the calculator go back as far as ancient China, Europe, and the Near East. It has two parts, the top part being much shorter than the bottom, and each has 9 rows of poles with beads on them. These beads are moved for counting and math functions. Early versions had a groove that beads would fit into and slide, or they would be used just on a flat surface. The top portion represents the 5s, the lower portion represents 1s, and as the bottom beads count up to 5, a top one is moved. Each abacus can be used for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, square, and cube roots. While they have fallen out of use, they are capable of doing complicated mathematical computations with ancient technology, and with no need for power, they are always operational. An abacus is considered one of the earliest forms of both a calculator and computer technology. Catapults are one form of ancient technology, as is the trebuchet. This is a type of catapult that uses an arm that has a hinge at one end and a sling on the other in order to throw a projectile from the sling. Two types are common: the traction trebuchet that is man-powered and was first seen in 4th century China, and the counterweight trebuchet, which used a weight to swing the arm. The counterweight trebuchet was more powerful than others and was found in areas of the Mediterranean in the 12th century and China in the 13th century. Traction trebuchets are first recorded in ancient China as early as 4th century BC, and they were often placed on wheels so they can be moved and used wherever needed. They were 5.2 meters high, and 1.2 meters would be buried underground for stability. Expected distance of the trebuchet was 91 meters, 55 meters, and 37 meters, depending on the swing. Distances were greatly affected by the length of the arm and the weight used to move it, as well as the size of the sling. The arc that occurs before the projectile is released can also affect not only distance but also accuracy. Stationed on walls, they functioned for self-defense, with some used to throw logs that had been hollowed out and filled with burning charcoal. The oldest temple in the world is located in Turkey, and excavation began in 1995, leaving the site untouched until then. It is dated to be over 12,000 years old, and this makes it older than both agriculture and pottery. Full of elaborate carvings, distinctive pillars, and other artifacts, Gobekli Tepe is one of the most recognized sites in the world and is becoming a very popular tourist destination. German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt led the excavation, and the discovery led him to believe that rather than agriculture being the technology that allowed people to stay in one place and form communities, that it was their forming of communities and building towns and cities that led them to begin planting crops for the first time. By settling into a permanent home, they would be able to plant food and raise livestock with confidence they would still be there when it was time to harvest. Large circular structures, from stone pillars, create the first known megaliths, and some stand as high as 15 meters, and it covers 8 hectares. Also found at the site are domestic structures, smaller buildings, quarries, and cisterns. Calendars as we use them today are an advanced and updated version. In 1000 BCE, the calendars used were based on objects and star constellations, with either 260 days or 365 days, with a lack of consistency between countries and cultures. Every 52 years, the two calendars would correlate the start of a new year, and it was known as the calendar round. The 260-day calendar, the Tzolk'in, uses two wheels, with the larger being 20 days and the smaller numbered up to 13. Moving through all 13 of the numbers counts the passing of 1 week, and each of the 20 days was associated with an object, animal, or deity. Calendar wheels would be turned each day, and the year was split into 4 parts based on the number of weeks that passed. Ancient technology is still being used today in many ways, while it also formed the base of the technology that is newer and more advanced. Without these incredible ancient technologies, we would not have the technology that we do today, and would still be relying on older methods. Excavations at many historical sites are uncovering new technology and showing us how things progressed.
Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and enjoy watching new videos on my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you soon!